Hi, so this is the first video that I've put onto YouTube, and it's going to be a little review of my Harley-Davidson XL 1200 Custom Sportster. Yeah, I went for this in the end, the 1200 Harley, for a number of reasons really. I've always had middle range kind of bikes, apart from I had a 1250 Bandit Suzuki at one point. But apart from that, I've had kind of Kawasaki R6Ns, SV650s, a 600 Bandit, you know, always kind of middle of the roady, commutery, just, you know, get around bikes. I always wanted a Harley, and I test rode quite a lot of Harleys actually, and I ended up going for this one. And the reason why I went for this one in the end was to do with sort of personal circumstance really. I test rode an 883 Sportster, I test rode the 883 Iron, which are both essentially the same bikes but just cosmetically different. One's a bit meaner and a bit blacker looking, that's the Iron. I test rode a 48, which is the same engine as this. It's the 1200cc lump in it, but the handlebars are just basically a lot lower. They kind of sit really probably about there really. They're not quite clip-ons, but they're pretty low. And it's blacked out, you know, the engine. It looks meaner. It's blacked out. It's probably, you know, a lot cooler looking, I guess. In fact, yeah, it's cooler looking than this. I live down in Brighton in England, and you do see a lot of guys riding around on the 48s. They seem to be a lot more popular here than the others, which is the 72, which is the kind of the mini 8-hanger version, and this, which is the XL Custom. Although I did speak to a guy at Guildford Harley-Davidson who did actually tell me that they sell, majority-wise, more of these than any other. That and the 883. So yeah, why did I not go for the 48? Basically because of the bars. They are just comfortable. The 48 is a great looking bike. It's a good posing bike. You know, you can put some Vance and Hines or whatever on them and get the stage 1 kit, and it will sound great and everyone will look at you going through town. But it's not really a bike you can sit on for hours and hours on end, like this. I'm 35. I'm certainly not old, but I just kind of thought, you know, my back is pretty fucked, and I just thought this is a far more mature choice, I guess, than the 48. And I'm really glad I did. I'm really glad I did. In terms of the 883, both the normal and the 883 Iron, just weak. You know, everything about it just felt weak. Cool looking bike, really cool. I mean, basically the same bike as this, really, just blacked out. Front wheel is not as large in terms of the tyre and stuff. Smaller. Apart from that, it's really cosmetically pretty similar, just all blacked out and matte black and tough looking, blacked out engine, you know, just it looks cool. But when you get on it, I'd come off an ER6N Kawasaki, a twin, and it felt shit. It just felt like an agriculture, it felt like I was riding a tractor that just had no power at all. Overtakes, that sort of stuff, just a nightmare. Felt clunky, felt horrible. And don't get me wrong, when you get on any Harley-Davidson, if you've been riding a Japanese bike, if you're riding a 4-stroke, it's gonna feel very different. And it'll take a little while to actually get used to that difference. It'll take a little while to get used to the kind of the torque. I still find this weird to ride in terms of, you know, you're in first, second and third gear pretty much the whole time unless you're on a motorway. The torque is huge compared to the Japanese 600s. I don't know what people who ride 1000cc sports bikes would make of this kind of thing. I expect very slow and very agricultural. But you know what you're getting in a way when you buy a Harley. You're buying into an image, and you're buying into sort of, you know, what Harley-Davidson would perceive as the lifestyle choice, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it does deliver. You know, when you're out riding it on a sunny day, you know, people do sort of stop and stare. People do look. You know, you feel like you're riding something a bit different. You don't feel like you're just on your normal motorbike getting from A to B. It is a bit of an experience, but I can understand it would definitely not be for everyone. If you want to like filter really fast and you want to zip through traffic, you know, then stick to your Japanese 6s. Get yourself, you know, something like that. This isn't a kind of an ideal commuter bike, you know. Not just because of that, obviously, but for the obvious reasons like the chrome and stuff. Although, you know, there are people that ride their Harleys, particularly the 883s and stuff, daily, day in, day out, but personally not for me. I got myself a little moped as well, so that's my kind of I suppose I have my fun on the little 125 in terms of the zippy zappy in and out of people's stuff. and then this one is really just for the cruising and the posing, really. And I suppose with Harleys, that's a big part of it. You know, they're not 1000cc Gixxer or a ZX10R or whatever. They are what they are, which is a big lump of kind of torquey muscle and a childhood dream. That's it. So, in terms of price for this kind of thing, you're looking at about 9.5 to 10 grand. The reason I say that is because I've got the Screaming Eagle cans on there. What can I say about these? I should have really gone for the Vance & Hines and the Stage 1, but I didn't. I went for just Screaming Eagle slip-ons, and that's something that I will change at some point. And if you are going to go for a brand new Harley and you do want that Harley sound, I would really recommend going down the route of the Vance & Hines and the Stage 1 tune-up kit sort of thing. And if you want the air filter and all that sort of stuff, it's not really... This certainly is not a loud bike. It's a very, very, very sedate Harley sound. It's louder than the normal pipes. The normal pipes are just, you know, total shit, really. But, you know, for the money, 500-600 quid for, yeah, not really worth it. Overall, really, really, really pleased with the bike. There's been a few little kind of things that I do dislike. Mainly these things here. That little thing there, the indicator on the right hand side, is an absolute nightmare. Now, I've looked at a lot of Harley forums, I've spoken to mates who ride Harleys, and they all kind of say the same thing, which is you basically get used to them, but fucking hell, I hate them. I absolutely hate them. The main problem having an indicator on the right, obviously, is it's your throttle. So, you know, you're on your sort of pin back, you're reversing, particularly if you're on a motorway, you're changing lanes, particularly on a motorway or something, and you know, you need to just get from the middle lane to the fast lane. You've kind of got to do this contortionist thing of like keeping the throttle sort of pinned with your palm whilst trying to lean in with your thumb to change the indicator. It's a nightmare. I don't understand why Harley don't just stick to what everyone else has and just have a left and right indicator on the left hand side. I mean, it really is annoying. Like, it's really annoying. But yeah, as I say, apparently you get used to that. Size of the bike, pretty nimble. Pretty nimble. I mean, the tank seems big, but I mean, I suppose that's just because I'm used to looking at the 48 and the Sportster models where it's got a little peanut on there. So yeah, it's a pretty nimble bike. I've filtered quite a lot on it, and I've actually filtered quite comfortably. You know, I've been filtering away and felt pretty normal, really. So no major problems with the actual width of the handlebars, and yeah, foot pegs. I mean, I've got forward controls on here, which, you know, are fantastic. I love them. The whole kind of Harley deal for me really comes down to the engine and those foot pegs. You know, I want the whole kind of like legs out, kind of feet forward deal. So I love the foot pegs. You get used to the foot pegs if you're coming from like a standard bike. If you're coming from like just a, you know, a regular either sports bike or a, you know, just a tour or a commute or whatever, you get used to forward controls within probably 2 rides. That was the other thing I didn't like about when riding the normal 883. The foot pegs were kind of, I guess, about here-ish, and it just felt horrible. Whenever I stopped, I was going to put my feet down, and I was so used to the Kawasaki, and it was just not the same at all in terms of the positioning. And I kind of wanted to put my feet exactly where the pegs were. Whereas when I got onto this, the front forward controls were fantastic. I could just, you know, as soon as I got to traffic lights, plonk my feet down, no problem at all. All felt pretty natural. When you pull away at lights, yeah, I'll be honest, you do kind of, for the first 1 or 2 rides, forget that you've got those forward controls, and you've got to kind of get the mind muscle memory thing going and remember you've got to put your feet forward. But yeah, apart from that, absolutely love it. Great bike. I would say around the 10 grand mark, if you really do kind of want something different and want something that you can do a lot of customization to. I mean, I've got a lot of ideas of what I want to do with this bike. As I say, starting off with putting probably the Vance & Hines on there, the Stage 1, the air filter kit, single seat. I did think about trying to put these mirrors down lower. You see a lot of guys as well who've got the mirrors down here that have got kind of the 48, and a lot of guys do it with the 883 iron. And I think that looks great, but the problem with that on this bike, on the XL Custom Sportster, the 1200, is the size of the tank. if you actually undermount them, then apparently, according to the guy in Harley, the mirror would actually smack into the side of the tank. So maybe some smaller mirrors, maybe undermount them. I want to kind of smoke out the indicators. Yeah, a few other little bits and bobs, brighter bulb in the front. But yeah, all in all, very, very, very happy with it. Very different, as I've said a couple of times, from riding a Japanese 4, but you know, you kind of know that if you're going to buy one. The final sort of thing I want to really go on about is the vibrations from it. It's not that bad. It's rubber mounted now, so the vibes, you know, they're not shaking off the bike. Mirrors, you kind of lose them a bit from about 40 up, and from 60 to 70 you lose them a fair bit, but you can still see what's going on. You just have to kind of focus a bit more. You're certainly not being shaken off anything. I mean, I was really worried when I test rode them that it was going to be just like riding some kind of rattlebone tractor, and that I just have no ability to stop that kind of shaking, but that's not actually the case. All in all, it has actually been pretty much non-noticeable shake-wise. The vibrations are, if anything, I actually find them quite cool. They're quite pleasant. They kind of remind you of riding something. You know, you can get so complacent riding kind of a Japanese smooth bike that you almost kind of forget you're riding a bike, and in some ways I guess that can be a bit dangerous, whereas on this you're totally involved because you are kind of, it is a little bit vibey, and you know, you're always made aware you're riding a motorcycle. One thing about this bike I absolutely love is the keyless ignition system, which is, I think, on all Harley-Davidsons, I may well be wrong, but on all Harley-Davidsons, which is this little thing here from I think it's 2014, but definitely 2015 onwards. It's this little kind of fob thing. And what that does is you just have your keys anywhere on your person, anywhere at all. So you don't have to bother with a key. The only thing you need a key for is going to be the lock on the front wheel to, you know, keep it locked when you're away from the bike. But apart from that, you just basically stand near the bike. On your controls here, you've got a button on the right that says run, which you literally click on. You'll have that sort of stuff happen. Just check that you're neutral, and then all you do is this then picks up that you have a key somewhere on your person. And then all you do is you literally just press start. And the bike will start running. Literally off, and you're off. So and then it just alarms and immobilises. Yeah, so I don't know, coming from the other bikes I've ridden, it's you know, it's just a bit of a hassle, isn't it? You know, you kind of go and pay for your petrol, or you do whatever you need to do, and you come out and you got your gloves on, then it's like, oh shit, I've, you know, my keys in my pocket, and it's all that kind of, you know, hassle of getting it out. So that's really good, actually. I really, really, really like that. This has got ABS fitted as standard. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but I think from 2014 onwards, ABS is fitted as standard to the XL 1200 Custom. Yeah, the only other thing is the whole kind of Sportster debate. You know, a lot of people kind of slag off. Well, a lot of people slag off Harleys full stop, but a lot of people slag off kind of Sportsters within the Harley range. You know, saying why did you not, you know, pay a couple more thousand and go up the range a little bit, up the model, and you know, get yourself a real kind of big boy Harley. Yeah, I don't care. I just don't care. I'm not, you know, I just don't care. I'm not Valentino Rossi in terms of my speed, and I'm not Hell's Angel, so I don't really care. I just like the bike. 1200 is more than enough for me. As I say, it's, you know, it goes. You know, sitting at lights and stuff, it goes. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Sportster bashing going on. I'm sure that when I post this, there'll be a lot of little fuckers that'll be putting in the comment section that Sportsters are shit and all that sort of stuff. That's fair enough. That's their prerogative. But yeah, I don't need any bigger than this. This is all good, and I don't really know why you would want a lot bigger than this, really, unless you were really looking for huge power, because as I say, the torque on this, first, second, third gear, in town and around town, never more. You only go up the gears when you're really kind of getting onto A roads and motorways. But yeah, good bike, really, really, really good bike. I would definitely recommend. But as I said, just a kind of final thought. If you have the money and you can actually afford the Vance and Hines, I would go down that route. And the Stage 1 kit, as me being one person, definitely knows I will eventually. And I've spoken to a lot of other people that, you know, got their Harleys, stayed with the original exhausts, and you know, within 6 months or so had gone down that route. And yeah, customization, it's all I suppose it's what this brand is all about. Just one other thing, this has only done a couple hundred miles, this hasn't even yet done its 1,000-mile service yet, but as of yet, touch wood, no problem at all, you know, no issues, nothing falling off, no strange noises, no rattles, no clunks, nothing at all. So yeah, really, really, really good, solid bike. And as I say, if you're looking for that badge, then I really think this would be the way to go if you can afford just to go up a little bit more from the 883. That said, there is the 750 Street, which I think is just about to come out in the UK, and I'm not really sure what that's going to do to the Sportster market, because obviously it's going to push the Sportsters from kind of the lower end of the Harley market upper kind of a notch. You know, you're going to have the Street 750s and the Street 500s, although I don't think the 500s coming to England. And then you're going to have the 883s and the 1200 Sportsters and stuff. And then above that you can have, you know, the regular kind of Diners and all that sort of thing. But yeah, great bike, really great bike. Got it from Harley-Davidson Guildford. I tried the other bikes at Harley-Davidson in Ringmer in Sussex. And yeah, you know, as part of buying one new, you get kind of free membership to the Hog Club and all that sort of stuff. So if you want to join a chapter, you can join a chapter in the local area. Again, not MC stuff, just kind of guys that like to ride bikes. I'm not really that interested in doing that at the minute, but maybe I would at some point. So yeah, I would fully recommend it. Great little bike. Cheers, bye.